In this video, we're going to make an egg timer. You're going to learn a lot of cool things like using a drop down in Flutter, using custom fonts, using images in Flutter, and also a custom paint. This is the final result that we expect. So the timer will count down until it gets to 0 when the egg is ready. You can select different types of eggs. There's a hard-boiled egg. You can see the image changing depending on what you select. We'll look into all that. Let's get started. So I've created a basic Flutter project. So I'm going to remove everything because we don't really need all this. I'll only leave the default app. We'll have our own homepage. Okay, so we have a basic application. Currently it shows nothing. Let's start with the drop down. Okay, so the first thing we're going to add to our app is the drop down that shows the egg type. So the user will be able to select either hard or soft boiled eggs, depending on what they want to use. Okay, so we'll begin with an enum for the two types. Let's call it egg type. Okay, then you're going to have a value in here for it, a property for it. Then in init state, we're going to initialize it to Okay, so then let's add our drop down. So we're going to use a helper method for that. Okay, so I'm using center so it can be nice and centered. Okay, so we'll use a drop down button. It's of type egg type. Okay, so in our list we are going to add the drop down items. Okay, now let's add a simple to add a unchanged. Let's add an empty one. We'll modify it later. Okay, so for the items we're going to have a list. It's going to contain the two egg types. So here we need to return the drop down menu items with the text. So let's set the text. It's going to change depending on the egg type. Okay, then let's return the drop down menu item. Okay, then let's set its value. Its value needs to be egg type. Then on change, so when user selects one of the values, we are going to set the egg type value. So we'll have to use set state, because we'll need to use state because we need to change some things in the app. Something need to be rendered. For example, the image needs to change. We'll add a timer later that needs to be reset when this changes. So we'll just do this for now. Okay, let's check what these errors are. Something is missing. All right, okay, let's add that here. Okay, so let's fix that. Okay, so let's fix the error. I think I forgot to list here. Okay, so we have our drop down. You can select thing softball for both. Okay, it's not updating for some reason. Okay, so I just noticed it's not changing here. I think I forgot to set the value with the specific menu item. Value is actually the value that was passed in. Okay, so let's add some padding. Let's restart just to make sure it's working. Okay, so it's soft. I can select hard and I can select soft. Okay, so let's add some padding to that to make it appear let's increase the font size first, then we'll add the padding. Okay, and also some padding around this here. Okay, yeah, it's a lot better. Okay, then the next thing we are going to add is the clock. Next we are going to show the clock. So for that we'll need to know how long it takes the egg to cook. So we're going to create a map that holds the egg type and the time it takes, and also we're going to need the remaining time. We'll also use a helper function to render the clock. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so I'm going to explain what I just did. So we are rendering the clock right now. So we create a duration, then extract the minutes and the seconds, then render that in a text widget. We also set the remaining time in a helper function, since we are going to reuse it many times. Okay, so that's it for the clock. Let's add some space between the drop down and the clock. Okay, so some nice space there. Next, we're going to add the custom font. For the font, I've left a link in the description of where to get the font, so download it, then follow along. So I'll add a folder here for our assets. Okay, then I'm going to drag my downloaded font in there. Okay, then let's rename it to something easier. Okay, then next let's use the next we're going to edit our pubspec YAML. Let's restart so it picks the fonts. Okay, so we can now use those in our timer. Silly mistake, I forgot to okay, so the font is, we have our custom font. Next we are going to work on the countdown functionality. Okay, let's add the play button, which will be a floating action button. So we're going to add a bool here, which we're going to use to track the state of whether we are counting or we're not counting. Next we are going to implement the actual countdown functionality. So when the user presses the play button here, we'll create a timer, a periodic timer, which will call a function that we'll create. In that function we'll reduce the remaining time and call set state to re-render our widgets. Okay, so let's continue. Okay. So when the user presses start timer, we set the boolean counting to true. We check if it's true, so the timer is already running, so we cancel it and we set the remaining time. Otherwise, we create the periodic timer, which will call our function here every second. So we'll call a function tick and set counting to true. The tick function reduces the remaining time by 1, and if it's less than or equal to 0, it cancels the timer and sets the remaining time. Also, we want, when the user selects the drop down, we want to again cancel the timer and reset the time. Okay, so let's try it out. See. Okay, the timer works. Okay, I've skipped ahead to the last few seconds just to show the final countdown. Okay, so there, we got done. Okay, so I think there's something missing, because this needs to change to the play button, and this needs to change to the play button. Okay, so here in cancel timer, we need to update that, so we can set the timer to null, and also here we need to remove this and move it here outside, so it starts counting immediately, so the play button changes immediately, like that. Okay, next we are going to work on the egg image. Okay, first we are going to add the egg images to our assets. So let's add a folder here. Okay, then we'll add the images. Okay, then next we are going to add them to our assets. Okay, for the egg image helper function, we are going to show either the hard egg or the soft egg, depending on the egg type that's been selected. to work on the egg overlay. For that we need a new file. Should repaint tells Flutter when to redraw the canvas. In our case, we are just going to tell it to redraw always. Next, we are going to flesh out the paint method. We'll need to create a paint object which will be used to draw on the canvas. So we'll set its background color to the background color we provide, and the style to fill, because we need it to cover the egg image. We'll also set the radius of the overlay, and also the center of the overlay. We'll set the center to half the width of the container, the enclosing container, and also the half the height of the enclosing container. The radius will be the lesser of half the width of the enclosing container, and the height of the enclosing container, half of it. Okay, so here we are calculating we are setting up our custom paint. So we have the overlay, which is our painter. It needs the background color and the percent. So we are calculating that here. Okay, so we have our overlay. Now we need to reduce its opacity. Okay. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so let's see how it works. Okay, yeah, and when we change, yeah, it resets. Okay, so we are going to jump ahead. Okay, so we can see it's still revealing the egg. I think it gives a good visual feedback to the user of how much time is remaining. Let's jump ahead again. Okay, here it is towards the very end, completely revealing the egg. Okay, so there. So that's the egg timer. I hope you learned and had fun as much as I did while working on it. Feel free to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.